Happy holidays, everyone. Phil here with my final holiday-themed review of 2023. Today, I'm going to review a movie that I had never seen before and finally watched the other night. It's a Christmas movie that over the years people have mentioned for some has kind of become a more modern Christmas classic that they watch every year. For me, it's one that I missed. Christmas with the Kranks, I believe, came out in 2004. It might have been 2003, but it was early 2000s. And at this point, for me, most of the holiday movies that I watch every year had already kind of been solidified in. You know, I was a kid of the 80s and 90s, and so it's movies from that era that I usually would watch every year for Christmas time. But in this case, people had urged me, why don't you just check something out new rather than just reviewing all these movies from your childhood? And so that's what I'm doing today. So Christmas with the Kranks stars Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis as a married couple, middle-aged, probably a little bit older middle-aged, whose daughter is essentially going off to join the Peace Corps. And as she does that, it's like, oh, no, it's an empty nest now. Our home doesn't have a child in it anymore. You know, she probably stayed there her whole teen years into early 20s, and now she's going off to college, only it's really the Peace Corps. And because of that, it's the first Christmas that they're ever going to have without having their daughter at home. The thing is, this couple always were like part of this vibrant Christmas community in their neighborhood. Everyone in their neighborhood puts up decorations at the same time, holds a traditional Christmas party. In fact, Jamie Lee Curtis is supposed to be known as like the woman who holds the giant Christmas party everyone attends every year on Christmas Eve. So how will the daughter not being there for Christmas affect it? Well, they effectively decide that this year they are skipping Christmas, meaning they don't want to have anything to do with Christmas. They're not going to spend any money on it. They're not going to decorate. They're not going to have a party. They're not going to do anything. In fact, what Tim Allen has the brilliant idea to do is to take all the money, the thousands of dollars that normally they would put into a Christmas celebration, and instead buy tickets to go on a cruise, a tropical cruise, a carnival cruise. And so the entire first half of this movie is that theme. And it's interesting because as someone now who's in his 40s, to watch this now, 20 years after it came out, I think I understand it a heck of a lot more than I would have watched it when it was new when I was in my 20s. I'm probably just a little bit younger than the Kranks as they are portrayed in this movie. And because of that, I kind of understand some of the midlife tropes and things that happen here. You know, your life starts to slow down, gets a little bit more boring, not as exciting anymore. You know, the traditions aren't as important anymore because you do them every single year. And yes, it's funny because every year you think, oh, it's Christmas, it's the best time of the year, but then somehow you end up dumping money into stuff all around, even though you don't realize where it goes. Nevertheless, it happens every year. And so being older, I definitely feel like this movie made more sense. Now, as the movie progresses, what happens is the Kranks now are telling everyone around them, we're not going to decorate. We're not going to have a party. We're not doing any Christmas-related stuff. Well, everyone is pissed at them because of this. Their friends, their relatives, even the neighborhood. In fact, Dan Aykroyd essentially plays a neighbor of theirs who's kind of like the neighborhood lead. He's the one who spearheads all the neighborhood initiatives and things. And because of that, he's so angry that they are not going to be doing any Christmas-related things because everyone else does. For example, every year, I guess, everyone puts up a Frosty the Snowman decoration on their rooftops. So the whole neighborhood matches with matching Frosties and looks great. He's pissed because they refuse to do it. And even they're pressured to do it. They keep coming by. You're going to put it up? Free Frosty, free Frosty. And Jamie Lee Curtis says to Tim Allen in the movie, you know, maybe we should just do this stuff just so they don't bother us. But Tim's like, no, we're sticking to our guns. You know, we should have the freedom to do or don't do what we want to do with our lives. It's messed up that these people are treating us like this. So while everyone else is treating them like humbugs, they're preparing for their trip to the tropical, cruise. And that's literally the first half of the movie. The weird part about this movie is that halfway through, the themes completely change, all right? Halfway through the movie, all of a sudden they get a call from their daughter, oh, I'm actually coming home for Christmas. I know you weren't expecting this, but I'm bringing my new boyfriend with me. You'll meet him for the first time. So, of course, we can do all the traditional Christmas stuff we always do. You can bake me my favorite pie. We can have our nice traditional dinner. We can have a big party with all the neighbors like usual, and all the decorations will be up. To which both of the parents are like, what? So now they're freaking out because they canceled Christmas. They haven't prepared at all, and their daughter's going to be there within 24 hours, and now they have to freak out. So the entire second half of the movie is essentially them rushing through, trying to prepare for a last-minute Christmas, fighting over the ingredients for meals at the supermarket. It kind of reminded me of in a lot of ways, Jingle All the Way, where you got Arnold Schwarzenegger arguing to try to get the Turbo Man doll for his son last minute. So it's kind of the same deal. They're trying to get the ingredients for the meals and everything last minute. So it's a weird movie because the whole first half of the movie, the theme is, well, you should have the ability to do whatever you want around Christmas. But is it selfish maybe to cancel everything around you and be a humbug when everyone else is being festive and kind of depend on you to do stuff? And then the second half of the movie is, let's just rush and do a last-minute 24-hour Christmas and all the zaniness that comes with it. Now, this movie has a lot of slapstick stuff. There's scenes where Jamie Lee Curtis is sliding across ice and snow and taking out groups of carolers by accident. Tim Allen over Botoxing his face and making himself look all contorted and weird. At one point, he's falling off the rooftop and gets suspended by a rope. There's a lot of things that it's like, so you got to suspend your disbelief, okay? The weird part is, I really feel like that mid-movie shift of tone is confusing. Because if the whole movie was, hey, we should have the right to either have Christmas or not, and we have the freedom to make choices for ourselves because we're grown adults, then that would have maybe made sense. And at the end, there could have been a big culmination where maybe the neighborhood realizes we shouldn't be so intruding upon people's lives. Or on the flip side of that, maybe the Kranks would have come to the realization that really the true meaning of Christmas is community and giving, and maybe they would have had a change of heart. But instead, it's like two separate movies. And because of that, when the tone changes, it's really weird because all of a sudden, like, the whole neighborhood changes. Oh, we're going to help them now do a Christmas party. You hated them for the first half of the movie. Why now all of a sudden are they your best friends because they changed their mind and their daughter's coming home for Christmas? Now all of a sudden, like, you know what I mean? It's very weird. Basically, there's a last-minute heartwarming scene where Tim Allen decides to give his tickets to the cruise to another group of neighbors, one of which the wife has cancer. And so he's like, oh, since this might be your last Christmas together, please take our tickets, and go on this trip because we're not going to go because now our daughter's home. And there's weird because some scenes, it's like, it's totally portrayed like it's okay for them to not celebrate Christmas, and they should have the freedom to do whatever they want. And in other scenes, there's people outright saying things like, you two are just so selfish. All you care about are yourselves. It's weird in that way, that the theme bounces back and forth and back and forth. It's got a lot of cameos in it. Like I already said, Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Dan Aykroyd are the three biggest actors, but there's a lot. Like the kid is the kid from Malcolm in the Middle, the actual the younger kid. And there's Cheech Marin from Cheech and Chong is in this. The brother of Gary Busey, I forget his name, is in this as a cop. So all these different people you would have recognized at that time period, the early 2000s, are kind of in it. They don't really have great roles or anything. They're just in it kind of to be in it and to add star power, I guess. There's also a weird plot about a criminal that gets arrested and somehow gets let loose inside of Tim Allen's house during the Christmas party. It's really weird and wraps up in a very odd way at the end of the movie. Basically, the way I see it is, it's not a bad movie. It's enjoyable because if you like Tim Allen, if you like Jamie Lee Curtis, if you want to see them in kind of a silly slapstick comedy role, if you're someone more my age and you want to see a lot of tropes and memes about middle age and what it's like to become middle age but still trying to celebrate Christmas and realizing what's important and what's not at this age of your life, it's still a good movie, but it doesn't seem to have a running theme throughout that really makes sense. It is disjointed and jumbled a bit. I do feel like a lot of the slapstick comedy is very forced. It's funny to see Arnold Schwarzenegger, an action movie star, running around trying to grab a Turbo Man doll in Jingle All the Way. It's not necessarily funny watching Jamie Lee Curtis run through the supermarket chasing a smoked ham or honey ham and trying to steal it from other people to have it for Christmas dinner. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they tried to copy things from other movies and put them into this one, and I don't necessarily think it worked that well. The other thing that's weird to me, Tim Allen already, at this point, was in an established Christmas movie franchise, The Santa Claus. And so when I think Tim Allen in The Santa Claus and The Santa Claus 2. And later on, they had The Santa Claus 3. And now I think they have a show that's an ongoing show about it, like on Netflix or something like that, right? So to me, it's weird because he's already known for that. But why make another Christmas franchise starring Tim Allen? I mean, he does a good job, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like maybe someone else in the role would have made more sense because you could have thought it was their Christmas movie while Tim already has his own Christmas movie. You know what I mean? So that was very bizarre. And I will say this too, it does seem to me like perhaps some of these characters were supposed to have bigger roles or different roles. For example, Dan Aykroyd, the whole first half of the movie is almost like the villain. He's the one who wants them to have Christmas no matter what and bothers them. But as soon as they decide to have Christmas, now it's like his character doesn't matter anymore. Really, like he's just degraded down to he's there at the party and he helps them set up. But now he doesn't really have anything to do for the rest of the movie, which is disappointing because Dan Aykroyd's a great comedic actor and he's kind of misused for the second half. So is it a good movie? Yes. Is it a fun watch? Yes. But I honestly don't know if I would ever want to see it again. It was good for like one viewing, and I thought it was okay, but I don't think it was coherent enough or classic enough, or really it doesn't resonate with me enough. Plus, it's disjointed of a movie with the two tones that I would probably want to see it again. And then on top of all of that, supposedly there's a character that's alluded to actually be Santa Claus in the movie, but it's not revealed till the very end, and it's really poorly done and weird. It's just... it's like so many themes crammed in at once. It doesn't seem like one that would be a Christmas classic to me, okay? And so I'm still happy I saw it, and I'm happy that I saw it at this stage of my life because I definitely kind of understand some of the themes of being an adult that I probably wouldn't have gotten when I was in my early 20s when it came out. But at the same time, I just don't think, like, for me, A Christmas Story, right? That's a timely movie of that time of Americana that will stand with me with all those themes and fun running jokes. And the thing is, the tone of the movie doesn't change. It stays the same throughout the whole movie, which is great. This movie is just so different. Right in the middle, it's like two movies crammed into one, and I don't really know if it works that well, but it's still a fun Christmas watch. So, with all I've just told you, it's up to you if you want to check it out or not. It was weird that it took me 20 years to watch it, and now that I've seen it, I'm just kind of like, it's okay. But I'm glad that I at least watched something this holiday season that's not something I've watched all the time, and probably what I will do is every year make an effort to at least watch one new Christmas movie that I haven't seen before so that I can get my knowledge of these up. Like, people talk about Christmas with the Kranks all the time in my streams, and I'm like, I can't talk about it because I've never seen it. Well, now I have. My thoughts are, not great, but not bad. Give it a look if you're interested. I believe I watched it on Amazon Prime Video. I think that's what it was available on for me. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for watching. And also, I want to say thank you if you checked out all of my seasonal movie reviews here over the course of December on DSP Reacts. This is the last one for the season. And don't worry, there will be many more reviews and things of other content in the new year. So it's not the end. It's just the end of the seasonal Christmas stuff for now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Season's greetings. Whatever the heck it is that you're celebrating. I hope you have a good one, a safe one. And I hope to see you soon for more content right here on DSP Reacts.